Chris Mackowski of Emerging Civil War. I'm in Lakeview Cemetery in Cleveland with Andrew Mezak from the James Garfield Civil War Roundtable. And tell us where we're at.
Chris, we're at the final resting place of President James Garfield. Behind us is his monument, which is the second largest final resting place of any president of the United States.
Now, we're shooting this in mid-July. Garfield dies on September 19th, 1881, but we're just a few days away from his actual assassination attempt.
A few days behind it. It was July 2nd, 1881, at the Baltimore Potomac Railway Station in Washington, D.C., which stood until 1908. It's now where he fell is in the middle of the intersection at 6th and Constitution in Washington, D.C., smack dab between the Federal Trade Commission and the National Gallery of Art.
So if you happen to see some markers that the Park Service has put up on Park Service property, that's actually out of the jurisdiction of where the actual assassination took place.
That's correct. So where the assassination site is right sandwiched between Pennsylvania Avenue National Historic Site and the National Mall. So the jurisdiction there falls to the D.C. Department of Transportation.
Now, what is it you like about Garfield?
You know, first of all, he's Northeast Ohio's most famous resident and favorite son, but here's a guy who worked his way up from abject poverty to becoming the president of the United States. His whole life is a story of just hard work and study and perseverance and resilience, and that's what I really like and respect about him.
And he becomes a dark horse candidate for president because he had really good political instincts, and that gets him this surprising nomination.
Yeah, so on that 36th ballot of the 1880 Republican Convention, the longest political convention in American history, 2 hot, sultry weeks in Chicago, when he made his nomination speech for John Sherman, he asked those in attendance at the convention, "Gentlemen of the convention, what do we want?" And somebody from Wisconsin shouted, "We want Garfield." And later on, he became the consensus candidate, the middle grounder of those three factions within the Republican Party that brought people together, besting Ulysses Grant for the nomination.
And also James Blaine.
So he initially went to the convention to support John Sherman, who, of course, is fellow Ohioan, who would then take the Senate seat that the General Assembly elected him to when he became president, going back to the Senate. That's the seat currently held by Senator Bernie Moreno. And then he urged the Sherman delegates to throw their support behind Speaker Blaine, and then Speaker Blaine would end up in his cabinet being with him on that hot, sunny July day in D.C. when he was shot. And then all of them formed a coalition to best, General Grant, President Grant, to become the nominee for president with 299 votes.
Now, for Civil War folks, they probably best know Garfield for Chickamauga and controversies related to William Rosecrans and should I stay or should I go? Very Clash-like. What's your take on it?
He was Rosecrans' chief of staff, and he carried the order to Thomas at Chickamauga to hold the line while Rosecrans got out of Dodge. But what he isn't really known for is, or what he's not as well known for, is the trial of John Porter. After the Civil War, the Supreme Court case Ex parte Milligan, which has to do with an imprisoned member of the military. He was a lawyer by training, and really by training it was just read the books, take the bar exam. But his first, last, and only case he ever argued was before the U.S. Supreme Court, where he won, and he's like, "Thank you, everybody, I'm out of here." but also he won at Middle Creek as a one-star general, as brigadier general, besting a Confederate two-star Humphrey Marshall. He was outmanned, outgunned, but he outmaneuvered him and bested him basically using psychological warfare.
Final pitch here for folks to come up and see this incredible memorial.
That's the best way to describe it. It's an incredible memorial. Not only is it a beautiful tribute to our nation's 20th president, someone whose tenure in office and life was cut too short at the age of 49 years, 10 months. It's an incredible work of art of the late 19th century. You'll see a lot of that Gilded era artwork here, the mosaic tiles, the beautiful stained glass windows, the brass and chandeliers. It's worth the trip to Cleveland to come check it out.
It's fantastic, and there is actually a view of the lake if you go to the observation.
There is, hence the name of the cemetery, Lakeview Cemetery. And of course, this monument is on the highest point here in Lakeview Cemetery. And it's really right where the cities of Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, and East Cleveland come together within the cemetery bounds.
Andrew, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us today.
Anytime, thank you.
I'm Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War. We'll see you online, in the cemetery, and on the battlefield.